Okay. All right. We're live.
Are we there? We
Yeah.
are
Yeah,
live.
we made it.
Whoa.
We did it.
I'm Joe. That's Holly, and that's Marisa.
Hi.
So
Hi.
anyway, today's news. We haven't been on here for a little while. Marisa, I'll let you talk. Um,
Hmm?
so anyway, we're back on the air again, and things are really good. We really like it. Life is good. It has its little splinters every once in a while, but that's life. So
Are
anyway,
people
we want to
splinters?
welcome
Some people
everybody
are
back.
splinters.
Some people are the splinters.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, really big splinters. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's on cue every day. I said I swear that someone gets possessed like moments before the show every day to just come be like, oh, neat, 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 neat to me, and so I'm always like, oh,
Every time.
every time, every
I don't
time.
know
So
how
yeah.
I don't know how
Anyway,
you can even stay sane for crying out loud.
I don't know. Well,
With
I
the
don't know.
guides coming in
I
all the time,
I
talking to
talk to
you, your
myself.
clients
I've got
following you.
multiple voices in
Oh,
my head. I've got
normally, if
multiple voices in my head. So I don't know if
it
that's
was
sane.
60 years, if it was 60 years ago, they'd have you in a
Uh-huh.
white padded cell.
They would really, seriously, honestly. And I was actually
They
thinking
would.
about that today because I remember Holly telling me about a long, long time ago. By the way, you guys, this is my sister, Holly. She's my big sister, and she and I have different moms, but same dad. That's our dad, Papa. And we lived together like here and there throughout our lives. Like here and there, she'd be with her mom, and then she'd come with us. It reminds me a lot of kind of how like Anya is like here, and then she's back with her mom and stuff like that. For my kids have a half sister as well, but she's not a half sister to me. She's my whole sister. But she
Yes.
lives only 1 mile away now, and so now she's going to be helping us with with my Patreon community that's been like, if you write me a question, it's like crickets, you get no answer because I just don't have the bandwidth to like go in and check that and Facebook and Instagram, like just everything. It's just so much. And I had an assistant before and now I don't, but I'm going to again starting this week. But the point is that Patreon's been like nothing there. It's just been like, you sign up, you pay for your classes for the whole month up front there. You get a bunch of deals. You get free healings, free clearings, free house clearings, free hubby scrubbies, stuff like that if you pay for your classes up front. And it's like $150 a month. And so I've got like a faithful like 12 people over there that pay for that. But all the rest of the people that used to be part of Patreon, there was like 800 people, are just kind of like, we're like, well, she doesn't respond. She's not there. They don't do anything. So Holly and I are going to revive the community. And every day at 10 in the morning, I'm going to go over to her house after I drop the kids off, and I'm going to do a free reading for somebody that we pull a name. She's going to pull a name from all the Patreon people that are a part of a certain tier and up. And then I'm going to do a free channeled reading for people from like 10 to 10:15. And then that's pretty much where we're at right now. And then we're going to have like a healing room, and I'm going to have this really cool thing that I love doing. I don't know if all you ADDers out there, it's called a body double. I think that's what it's called, a body double. When you have ADD, like you can get so much stuff done when somebody else is at your house. They don't have to be paying attention to you. They don't have to be doing anything other than just like sitting there. And all of a sudden you're like the most productive person in the world, and they call it a body double. And so like when Holly's here, I'm like, oh, woo, I'm so productive. When my dad's here, I'm like, I'm so productive, like just getting stuff done. Except Jeff isn't a very good body double. But anyways, point is, when I start this Zoom thing, we do this, I call it the motivation station. So it's like, if you click on this Zoom link, we all hold space for each other on Thursdays. We did on Thursdays and Fridays, where we all just write what we have to get done that day in the Zoom chat. And then everybody holds space for each other. And we all got so much stuff done. And you don't have to have ADD to be, productive doing this. But there was probably like 15 or 20 of us there one day on a Thursday, and we got so much stuff done because this whole just a bunch of people being focused. Every hour we'd have it ding, and we'd come back and be like, I just got this done and I just got that done, because you don't want to be like to your family like, I just got all this stuff done, but you kind of want credit for what you get done. Sometimes every once in a while it's like, oh yeah, I got all this stuff done, but you don't have to be obnoxious like my husband, who expects like a parade to be thrown for him once he does the dishes. It's like, everyone stop, parade time. But it's just kind of supporting each other. So that's going to be part of the tier too, is the motivation thing. And then also I'm going to have a healing room over on Discord, which we used to have a long time ago, which was really cool. All you had to do was log into it and you get your energy cleared. It was super, super cool. So check patreon.com/discovering intuition, and just go check out our Patreon tier. There's thousands of meditations on there, classes, all that stuff that you'll have access to as well over there. And you can sign up for it for free too. Okay, I'm going to be quiet now. So yeah, we're here today and we don't know what we're going to talk about, right?
I sent you 2 links, but let me say one thing. For those who are used to seeing me by myself or seeing Marisa by herself or Marissa and I together, it's
Mhm.
kind of neat that my daughter Holly is coming in because let's just say she had a lot of doubts about what we were doing. Uh, Holly is the best way I can call her is a strict Christian, a traditional Christian, very
Uh-oh.
Bible. So so many people say, "Oh no, you can't talk to spirit or whatever. You know, you're going to go to hell. Here, go read Deuteronomy this and whatever." And so it's nice to have Holly on here because she's got a good sense coming from a Christian side, and she can get a pretty good idea of really what we're really doing, you know, from afar. It was even hard for her to even watch us because she felt that that was almost evil. And I think what we're attracted, who we're attracting, are people who are curious. At least that's what Jesus had told us when we first started doing this 12 years ago. Is it 12 or 13 now? The end of 20.
13 is the curious people. Yeah, 11, 11, 11.
Yeah, he said, "Look, don't try to convince a Christian to love me because of what you're doing. Because if they love me, they love me. So leave it be. Let them be.
Yeah.
But the people that who are going to be
It's like preaching to the choir. Don't preach to the choir.
well, but they're going to take what you're doing as evil because they're very traditional. And so the people who are going to be most interested, or at least show some interest, are the curious. So that's kind of where we are, and it's kind of fun to have Holly to come in, and she'll have her comments, and she may agree with us or she may disagree with us. So I think it's going to be fun. What I sent over to you today, Marissa, was what I've been talking about. It's like, morning in America! Yay! I'm a Trumper, and he won! We're going to get better! The United States is going to get better! Everything is great, 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 great! Everybody's singing morning in America, and they're hearing birds in the sky, and everything's really happy now. The people didn't.
And
Oh
airplanes.
I mean, they feel like they've been thrown into jail or hell. So anyway, it reminds me of 1984 when Ronald Reagan had an ad which was "Morning in America" because we were
Warning or morning?
morning,
Morning. Okay.
MORNING, morning, not like crying. It's
Yeah.
morning America, and so it's just great. He had a lot of troubles. He came in and took over after Carter, and it was really tough to fix all the mess that Carter had gotten us into. You guys are too young to know that, but it was a mess. Country was a mess when Carter was here. I mean, gas prices went from 18 cents a gallon to 55 cents a gallon, and long
Woo!
line. 55
cents
would run out of gas.
No.
I mean, it was just a mess. It was terrible. Our economy was a mess. It was inflation on top of two things that shouldn't go together. One was inflation and stagflation, and it was a mess. Everything was a mess. Fortunately, at that time, in 1980, when he came in, I was impervious to it all because I was young. We were a baby. Holly, you were a little older.
What year was that?
Was,
70s?
1980. 1980.
Oh, okay.
So Reagan did what happened to Reagan was pretty much the same thing that happened to Trump. They all said, "Oh, he's just an actor from Los Angeles or from Hollywood. How can he be president? He's just a moron," and blah, blah, blah. And so they're constantly coming after Reagan, constantly. And he started fixing everything. So when he was going to run for re-election in 1984, and he won, he brought out the phrase, "It's morning in America." So I thought you'd go ahead and play that ad and see how it feels towards today. And then the other one I sent you was, on the border. Donald Trump hired Tom Homan as the border czar. And his famous quote so far is, "If you're illegal, you better start packing." So anyway, I wanted you to see what he has to say. So I sent those two.
So wait, is Trump saying that he's going to deport everybody?
Going to get rid of the illegals. If you're illegal, you're going. And people ask Tom Homan, he says, "Well, how could you do that? How to deport a father who's illegal and leave the family behind. And you know what his response was? You can all go together.
Oh,
Yeah.
You
But
can
what
go
if like
together.
they only lived? But what if they all just lived here? Like, well, I guess if dad moves and gets a
Now,
job in Vegas,
Trump
say, the
Trump
whole family
is
has to go.
yep.
So, it's like, yeah, then it's
The
like,
whole family
I would.
knows he's illegal. They
We
know
wouldn't
he's
have
breaking the
stayed in
law.
Escondido. Yeah, we wouldn't have stayed in Escondido, and you moved back to Encinitas. Holly, when we all moved out to Escondido, it's like it wasn't like we were going to stay in another town, and Papa was going to move out to Escondido because he had a development out there. It's like, yeah, we all go. So yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense. It just happens to be that it's
honestly,
another
I,
country
I
in
know,
another
feel
town.
you're
like
going, oh,
there should be a
you're gonna
year,
split up.
like a cutoff year. I
Yeah.
feel like, I mean, everything
Wait,
started getting crazy about 4 or 5 years ago with the border and everything. I just feel like, I don't know. There's been a lot of people here for a lot of years and families and
That's true.
generations
They
and
wouldn't
stuff.
even
And
know
I
what to
know
do
they're
in
illegal.
Mexico.
I know they're illegal, but
he's not going after those. Let me clarify a little bit.
Oh, he's not. Oh, okay.
okay.
All right.
Yeah,
No,
I'd like to
he's
hear
made
that.
it absolutely clear. Absolutely clear. First ones he's going after are the Tren de Agua from the gangs out of Venezuela, and the
Good.
what was it? The something 13 something 13 gang. They're going after all the gang people. Then they're going after
How
all
many
the
gang
criminals.
people could there be though? Oh, okay, that's good.
A lot. We've had somewhere between 10 and 20 million people come in the last 4 years.
They're part of a gang?
And I'm telling you that there have been 10 to 20 million. Probably most of them are good people that are doing just what I would have done.
They're not just Hispanics either. They're from other countries and everything.
Oh, right.
There's 138 countries. We've got people from 138 countries here. It might be 178. But he's going to go after all the gangs. Then he's going to go after anybody who had committed crimes that are still in the country and illegally. Then he's going to go after... then he's going to set up a system where you can admit that you're here illegally and register yourself, like with the post office.
Good.
And so that we know who you are, and we're not going to come after you unless you break the law, and then you're gone. And then the very last thing they would ever possibly do is go after a mom or a dad or a grandma or somebody like that. That they're the last ones. In fact, my guess is the ones that have been here the longest. Now he's focusing on the last 4 years. It's the people who came in during the Biden administration that he's focusing on. He's going to get those people first, and then they'll rethink. My guess is we're going to need all the people who have been here for more than 4 years.
Yeah.
We're going to need them because they've already blended with America and have taken on our customs and our traditions.
Sochi. Oh, geez.
What's that? Sochi's married.
I think of Sochi. Yeah.
She's married. She's married to an American, and so she automatically. She automatically gets to stay, and I think she's got her citizenship. She could apply for her citizenship. So
there's so many people that came here and actually wanted to do the American dream, and they've done that. There's so many people, but I know there's a lot of people that come here and just take advantage and and crime, and I mean, there's just so many bad things that have happened.
People I did loans for that never paid a tax in their life, though. It's kind of frustrating, like when you see someone coming in to buy a house.
Yeah, I've paid so much taxes it would blow your mind, and to think that they're giving it away, just giving it away to people who don't even belong here, and so that's the next part. Trump. So that's what Homan's going to do.
Who could belong here if they went through the right steps.
Yes.
Yeah, they got to go through the right step. Yeah. Oh, the one that I left out was all the people that had court dates that didn't show up. So if people had, because when you come across illegally and for whatever reason you're given court dates to come to seek asylum, if you did not show up for your court date, they're going after you. So if that's a mother and a father or a grandmother or grandfather, well, it's too bad. They broke the law twice. They came in illegally, and then they didn't go to court when they're supposed to go to court. So they're going to go after them.
Well, who would if they were here illegally? They're going to get taken away. It's easier if I was scheduled to go to court.
Well, that's what they think.
I was here illegally. I would never show up. I'd be like, I'm not going to show up. They're going to deport me and throw me in jail.
Yeah, then you'd get imported. deported. You get to get deported right back to where you came from.
I think it would be neat if they set up the court date to be able to take the classes. You know,
What classes?
People can do whatever they want.
Part of America.
Oh,
you know.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I mean,
yeah.
Once they come in, they can
they
educate themselves on America.
No, she's
I mean,
I
live down in Mexico. I'm an illegal alien. I am an illegal alien in Mexico, but I've tried to bring myself. Yeah, I'm not there legally. I'm not down there legally. I don't have citizenship down there or anything. They can toss me anytime they want to. But what I've done is I've blended myself into their culture. I have become part of their country. And so I'm not there to cause any problems. I don't want any money. You only see a little tiny.
I said, yeah, we can only see this much of you. You're blended.
No, I see him.
We can only see this much of you. Meaning you blended in, you grew a beard and everything in hair.
Okay. Yeah,
you were saying you blended into Mexico, and I said, yes, we can only see this much of you because your face is covered. You're blended. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Anyway, you're gonna love this tape of Tom Homan because
I got it pulled up now.
Yeah, AOC.
It's a really hard subject. It really is.
Yeah,
it's a hard subject.
The morning again in America, or the
do the AOC one first, since we're talking about the border. So yeah, AOC. Bring that one up.
Okay, yeah, I pulled it up and it started talking in my ear, and I was like, "Wait, stop!" Here we go.
Marisa, all right. Let it play all the way if you can, and then if the guides or anybody is up there that wants to make a comment, then you could talk afterwards.
We do have a new guide here. It's really interesting looking. The guide that we have here, I think it might be Holly's. I've never seen this one before. It's like a big wiggly thing. It's like a big like like I always say Holly has the same abilities as we all have the same abilities, but she says she doesn't see. Wait, this is going in the background, but I can't see where it's coming from. Hold up. I can hear a lady talking. There we go. Okay. Holly has the same abilities, but she doesn't see. You feel, right, Holly? You just have like a sensor. She has like a knowing. She just knows. And just like senses stuff. Like I'll be like all talking and she'll say like this. And I'm like, yeah. She didn't hear it. She just feels it and just knows it. But what was I saying? Oh, so have you ever felt or sensed a weird wiggly thing in front of you? It's like, it just looks like a it doesn't look like the weird, creepy one that I think looks like that Satan energy that comes in on people's heads and like jolts them. It looks like a amoeba like thing. It looks like a worm, but a pretty worm. It's bright and it's right in front of you. It's like right in front of you, and it's just kind of like I think that might be your soul. I think that might be what our souls look like. It looks like a water. You remember those water things that we used to play with when we were kids? They were like a water worm, and you could stick your finger in it and would turn inside out, and like you could like push it around and have like gel stuff in it. You know, that's what it looks like. But it looks like it's going like that. Like it's just like a like that, and it's right in front of you. And whenever I talk to you, it ends up right in front of me. And then when I stop talking to you, it goes away, and then it pops right in front of me. So I think when we talk to people, like I've always talked about guys, like my dad's like a battery for me. He it boosts my energy. I think Holly definitely does too. So now I have both here, and I'm like, whoa, I'm seeing stuff, like for real, like with my eyes. It looks like a wiggly worm right in front of me, but it feels like whenever like I talk to Papa, then his little wiggly worm comes in front of me, and then like whenever we talk to a person, whether they're, because we're all in the same house, guys. Like my sister's upstairs, I'm in the garage, my dad's in the backyard. We're all here in Vegas right now, or Henderson. But I feel like it doesn't really matter whether you're in the same place with somebody or not, because I feel like our souls connect. Like, what does it look like to me? It almost looks like a cord or something. I don't know what it looks like to me. It's very interesting. Anyways, but it's the guide, the energy that's coming forward is, remember Anna, Papa? Anna came in at one point. It was like Jesus's grandmother. I think it was Jesus's grandmother.
Yes,
Holly's guide.
That's
Holly's guide. Holly has Jesus's grandma. Huh?
Oh my.
So I have Mary. She has Anna, and then you have Jesus. So it's kind of like cool. Your grandma,
according to your entry book, Mary's mom was.
Sorry, making fun of my sister. It's interesting because a lot of people have Anna, and Anna comes through as it's a ANNA. I used to see a guide that would come in as ANA, and that guide was more of just kind of like a Holy Spirit energy, but this one is ANNA. So I think it's your actual like soul or spirit guide, or it's your guide. It's your guide. Kind of like how I have Abraham. It's Yeah, interesting. Anyways, okay. Well, that's the guide that's here today, and I've channeled that guide before when we've been together, Papa. But I wonder if it was after I saw Holly that it came through. It's interesting. It's saying it's an angel. It's her angel.
I just said it. I said it's an angel.
Oh, you did? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
In my head, I was like, when you kept saying guide, I was saying angel, because I do feel, I feel that we do have angels surrounding us.
Yeah. What do you feel about guides anyways? Do you think that there's guides, or like, cause I'm weird about guides too. Cause half the people I work with don't have guides. They just have a higher self.
Since I've been around, I've been putting it in my mind, and I've been reconstructing and putting things together. And I think you and I feel the same way, as if like it's a guide or an angel. I believe it's like the same word is what I'm thinking. What I feel and what you feel, because we do, the Bible says we have angels, that protect us and take care of us and guide us and things like that. And obviously the Holy Spirit and things like that. And I feel like it's the same thing to you. It's just, it's, I don't know. But it's different, obviously. I haven't been around that long, so.
No, I think you're right, because they talk about angels in the Bible, but they never talk about a guide. They never talk, oh, your guide or whatever. And I think that the guides, I'm coming to the conclusion right now, is like the guides are more like these like programs within our subconscious mind that like I think maybe our soul puts in us. Like if you start walking, like me and Jeff went hiking at the hot springs, and there's this big sign, like after we walked like a mile out of the way because we went the wrong way. I was like, oh, it's this way. He's like, no, it's this way. I'm like, no, I think it's this way. No, it's this way. Both of us were wrong. We went, so anyways, we get to the sign that says, turn around and go back of 1 mile and turn right. And it was like the one way that like we weren't pointing, like we should have gone that way, and we went that way. So it was like we were sitting there bickering the whole time. No, you should have gone this way. And that we were both wrong. So anyways, but we got to this sign that just said, you've gone the wrong way, like turn around and go back. Like somebody put that sign up, and I kept thinking like, well, what if somebody just put that up just to mess with people? Like I can see some sociopath putting up a sign that says like, I don't trust anybody. So I was and Jeff was like, I'm sure they didn't do that, I'm sure that's true, and if the sign was real, it was true. But you could tell somebody spray painted it on there, like they were like some like graffiti person. And so anyways, we went back and we found our way based on that sign. But that's kind of what I feel like guides are. But I also feel like guides can be so counterfeit. It can be an earthbound spirit, it can be an evil spirit, it can be really, it can be an alien, it can be anything coming in, and people are like, oh, it's my guide. And so many people that I know of have like spirit guides that are not guides at all. They're just like, like I compare it to like, like it's like a university like professor that got fired, and all they ever taught was like psychology 101 or whatever. And so now they stand out in the area where everyone starts school, and they go like, oh yeah, psychology 101 professor here. And people go, oh wow, great. So they go and they take the class, and then the next they're supposed to go to the next class, but they never let them go to the next class because they stay in psychology 101 the entire time, and they never move on with all the other people because they're not with a real teacher. They're with someone who thinks they're a teacher, who wants to be a teacher, who got fired, or who was never a teacher at all and just knows the material really, really well. And so, and then they're recruiting students out in the little area where everyone's registering, pretending to be a teacher. So that's a lot of guides are like that. And they're like, oh, I have a, ISIS, or I have a, Gaia, or I have like, just like the guides that like Doreen Virtue was famous for making these cards, and she's hardcore Christian now. But she was very new age, and she made all these cards with like Archangel Michael and Archangel this and that. And a lot of people use those cards, like divination cards, to do readings and stuff. Those cards alone have angels that have their own field. Like she made up the angels, and her definition of that angel sits out in the astral plane. So people call that angel in, and it's like a total like earthbound spirit. It's fake. So you guys be careful with guides. Holly, if you can think of, when I play this video, if you can think of like a verse or something that people like, where they talk about actual angels or something like that. I know they talk about Archangel Gabriel, Papa, because you brought that up in the Bible when they talk about when Jesus is going to be born. But I've never heard them say that actual angels, like that we have angels. I've only heard that say about how like the Archangel Gabriel came to Mary to tell her that Jesus was going to be born. Otherwise, I've never heard anything about angels in the Bible.
Speaking of Mary, and we were talking about Anna, while you were talking, I asked ChatGPT, I gave them the question. Listen to this. This will be short. This is what I wrote. Mother Mary's mother, Anna, from the Urantia book. Please show the account. Here's what they said. In the Urantia book, the life of Mary, the mother of Jesus, and her family lineage are touched upon, including mentions of her mother, whom the Urantia book names as Anna. According to the Urantia book, Mary was born into a lineage from the tribe of Judah, and Anna, her mother, was of similar descent. Linking back to the line of David, that's where Jesus is connected to David. It's through his mother, not his father. Joseph was
Anna.
But it's such a patriarchal society back then, and women were second class, so they didn't dare say that the lineage for Jesus to David was through Mary. It was they say it's through Joseph because it's the man. So anyway, this is the Urantia account. Mary was born lineage from the tribe of Judah, and Anna, her mother, was of similar descent, linking back to the line of David. Mary's parents are depicted as devout individuals within the Jewish tradition of their time. Anna is briefly mentioned, emphasizing her piety and devotion to her faith, providing Mary with a strong spiritual foundation. Anna and her husband, Joachim, Mary's father, are said to have a hopeful and supportive view of their daughter's role in religious life, though they did not foresee her specific role in the events of surrounding Jesus. And then it finishes, while the Urantia book does not extensively detail Anna's life, it actually does a little bit more, but I don't want to go into all of it. Detail of Anna's life, it gives enough context to suggest her role as a loving and faithful mother who greatly influenced Mary's values and spirituality. The little bit extra that I'm not going to read about is that Anna was totally a matriarch, and she was also into I don't want to say other religions, but other offsets like the Essenes of the Jewish faith, and the Stoics, and let's see, the Stoics, the Essenes, and somebody else. And she was a curious one. Mary's mom was a very curious one, very strong-willed. They've painted her more like a with a rainbow, and but it really goes much deeper that in the Urantia book. We lost Holly.
No, I had her. I was thinking, let's see if she would switch over to the. Ooh, that sounds really good.
Does that sound better?
Did you switch your? Yes, it's so silent. See how silent it sounds? It sounds really good. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah, she was fixing her audio. It sounds
okay.
Perfect.
Well, okay. I just wanted to bring that up because you were talking about Anna. And,
so Anna, they say she's named that in the Urantia book. So that means in the Urantia book, they say her name is Anna. And, they actually said one time, the guides, when I think Steve and I and Sue or someone were channeling, it wasn't you, but they were saying that, no, it was us. In one of our books, they were talking about how Jesus came from a long line of like very powerful spiritual women, like they were part of
matriarchs.
Like not the Essenes or whatever, but they were like super powerful, like almost like in the day they would consider it like magic or whatever, but it was just, and that Mary Magdalene didn't come from that line, but she was kind of part of those women or something like that. I remember talking about that and them saying that, everyone always says, oh, Jesus had a baby with Mary Magdalene. I don't think that's true, but I do think that she was kind of like together, their energy brought in like the Holy Spirit, the Christ consciousness, kind of brought in all that stuff kind of together. I think he could have done it alone, but I think that she was kind of linked in there somewhere. People try and glorify her so much and kind of almost turn her into a god, and I don't think that's true, but I do think that her energy and his energy linked up somewhere along the lines because he was part of that soul lineage with his mom and his grandma. So that's cool.
Cool. You know how I can prove that Jesus did not have a child on this earth? A lot of people go, oh, he had 2 children with Mary Magdalene. No. If you go to Genesis 6, you find out what happens when a spiritual being matches with a human being. What they end up with is giants.
Oh,
the Nephilim. If you bring together a spirit, which Jesus was, he was God, and bring it together with a human woman, they had giants. So if Jesus had a child with Mary Magdalene, he would have had 36-foot people. There would have been.
They were 36 feet tall.
Yes, that's how big the Nephilim were 36, because they were 18 cubits is how tall they were. A cubit is the distance from the elbow to the tip of your finger, here to here. multiply that by 18, and that's how tall the giants were in Genesis 6. So if Jesus would have had a baby, then Mary's babies would have been giants, because they had already proven that's what happens when you mix spirit with human. And
interesting.
Somehow, and if you don't believe me, go to Genesis 6 and read.
But those people that believe that Mary Magdalene and Jesus had babies probably don't really believe in the Bible either, though. So, but still, yeah,
probably not. They're probably trying to demean the Bible. They're trying. Those that say that are actually trying to demean the Bible, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And
I think some people are a bunch of junk. So anyway,
they're so bitter towards their parents or into religion that they just, will do anything. Like some people are just so against religion just because they can't stand their father, they can't stand their mother who is so into it. And instead of just like being against their parents, they're against the Bible because that's something that their parents cared about. So, yeah. Okay, here I'm going to start this. You guys can see it clearly. Here we go.
How long is it? I think it's about a minute 36 or something like that.
No, this thing's like 12 minutes long.
Oh my God! No.
Trump's supporters are humiliating.
Well, let it play. Let it play for a while. Let it play for a while, and then after about a minute and a half or so, you can cut it off.
Okay.
See that separated children from their.
If I get
Which is happened? Oh, there we go.
Biden, I have young children, I'll be separate.
Oh, that's not. You must have it on a fast speed. It should be on.
Oh, is it on fast?
I don't know.
I listen to everything.
It says
while you're looking at that real quick, I just want to touch on the angels we were talking about.
Go ahead.
God commands angels to protect and guide people. Psalm 91:11-12. For he will order his angels to protect you wherever you go. They will hold you up with their hands so you won't hurt and step on a stone. And it says this in the Old Testament. There's many angels, examples sent by the Lord to protect and guard humanity. In the Torah, angels appear in several instances, including when they prevented Abraham to not sacrifice his son Isaac, and when they guided the Israelites after they left Egypt. There's just so many instances where there's angels guiding and protecting us, and I feel that. I've felt it since a child, it's just, it's pretty amazing. And then when you believe it, you feel it even stronger. It's just, I don't know.
Well, what I teach people is that we all have a team, and we're all assigned angels. We're all assigned.
I think so.
We're assigned. Everybody has a team. We all have our soul. We have our spirit. We've got guides. We've got angels that were assigned to us. We got a whole team. So when you're talking to God, you're talking to your whole team, and your whole team goes to work for you every day. And so unless it's a really, really important thing, God expects our team to take care of us. If it has to go to the boss all the way, he'll get involved. But for the most part, it's like today. I said, okay, Eden, I don't mean to really do this. I hate to ask you for front place parking spaces. And I told you, Holly, the other day, I ended up with the very best parking spot at Costco when it was like a zoo. And I said, Eden, can you find me a front place parking space? Bingo.
And then 2 or 3 opened up next to you.
Yeah, 2, and then 2 opened up right next to me. And so the other cars are racing around to try and get those spots. So anyway, this morning I had a doctor's appointment. So I go to the doctor's, and first time I had gone there, and I drive in the parking lot, same thing. One parking lot was completely full, absolutely full. And then I drove over to where I would have to go into my building, and all of those were full. So I said, oh, Eden, my gosh, you failed me. You didn't find me a good spot. And I heard something in my head that said, turn right. I was getting ready to turn left, and I heard turn right. So I turned right, went back in front of the buildings, and a girl walked out, and I decided to follow the girl. She walked 3 parking spaces away from the front door, pulled out. I got right there by the front door. Okay, thanks, Eden. I appreciate it. Even though I feel guilty,
you fail to realize that you heard your guide. Like, it's like everyone's like, oh no, Marisa has all these abilities and blah 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 blah. But it's like you heard go right. So you actually heard.
I was ready to go left, to go out to completely in the back of the building, and I heard something that said go right. So I went right, and I went around the front row, and there was nothing right there. And as I got to the door, in front of the door that I was going in, a girl walked out. And I thought, she's going to go to a car. I wonder where she's going to go. 3 spaces away from the front door is where her car was. And she pulled out. I pulled right in as other cars were piling up behind me and other cars coming in looking for parking spots. So Eden does that for me all the time. She's part of my team. And she's one of my guides. And so, or she might be an angel. I don't know. I can't quite figure that one out. But anyway, ask your team, which includes your angels. Whenever you need help, talk to God, but it's going to be your angels and your spirit and your soul all working together to put you on the path that you want to be on. You just have to trust. When you only trust in yourself is when you run into trouble.
Yes, so, that is true.
Okay.
And so unfortunately, a lot of people are like that. They only trust in themselves. And then when they hear God's voice in their head, they think it's their own head. And they don't think that it's God, and they don't thank God for that, and they don't appreciate it, and they just think that it's all about them. So that's
but if they know it's not their voice, and it's not their thoughts, you got to follow it, because intuition is the way that God talks to you. You got to listen in your heart, you got to listen in your mind, and when you know you're hearing something that you did not put together, but again, like Marisa said, people think, oh, well, that's just me. Well, try it. Try listening a little closer and following whatever they're telling you to do, because that's the way they talk to you. So anyway, did you figure that out, Marisa?
Talk to us in our own voice. Yeah, I got it. It's the
or we can go to the morning in America.
It keeps going too fast. Yeah, let's do the morning in America one, because that one will work better.
Skip that one. We're long ways away from the borders are now.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, here we go. You can see this, right? Here we go.
I'd love to hear your opinions on this.
Okay. Than ever before in our country's history, with interest rates and inflation down.
That one's too fast too. Marisa, I think you've got it on 1 or 2x. I mean 1.5x or 2x. Nah, forget it. Marisa, forget it. We'll just have to work on your computer and make sure it starts working the next time. Yeah,
I think it's going right. Holly, is it his computer that's hearing it too fast? Or
no, it says normal right there, but it did sound really fast.
It sounds real fast.
It's just energy.
There's gaps.
The energy.
There's gaps. There's gaps.
Yeah. It's just the energy. That you think the energy is gonna be crazy with just you and I. Now there's 3 of us, and the energy's like, it sounded normal to me personally, but I also listen to everything on like 2 or 3x. Like I can't watch a YouTube video on normal speed. I have to watch it fast.
Do you have the ability to go 1x?
I made it at 0.75. I make it go down. I made it go a little bit slower. Here.
Oh, at 1 it goes too fast?
Yeah. Well, I mean that's where it should be at 1. Let me see. Here we go.
It's morning in America. Today, more men and women will go to work than ever before in our country's history.
It's not coming through good, Marisa. It sounds terrible.
Doesn't sound good?
Yeah, no, it's not a good. It's not a good audio.
Okay. Maybe Holly can play it from hers. Yeah. Oh well, the guides are saying. The guides are here, and they're talking about. Let me turn this thing off here. Remove. See, when Holly figures this out, Holly's gonna figure this all out. Then I won't have to be the one that's doing it, and then because I'm going back and forth between channel mode and this is like all my head's like spinning.
You're gonna get stuck with all the production, Holly.
That's kind of fun to do. I like it.
I like that.
It's hard to go between. Yeah, Holly's super organized.
Next time,
when we worked in,
Holly. Next time you need a higher chair.
All right.
Oh yeah.
You need to be higher. You need a little bit higher. Yeah, you're like.
I feel this is no love.
Hi everybody, how are you? Hey, we're doing good over here.
But I'm always like this and there, so it's, whatever. Okay, here's exactly. Okay, here is the guides. They're saying something. So they want to talk about something about they're talking about hold on, I always have to remember to do this. Okay, here's the guide. They're saying what you are seeing in front of each other when you speak to each. Oh, they're answering the question that I said about the wiggly thing. They're saying what you are seeing is the connection that you have to each other. For each of you are a soul, and your soul is either lying face down on the earth or laying face up on the grass. So they're showing like grass. And I'm thinking of the verse that you were talking about with the Psalms, with the hands raising you up so that you don't land on a rock or something. They're showing everybody kind of like almost like floating down this like river on this like grass, like it looks like a grass like island, but it like moves. It moves around and it's like on the water. And some people are laying out like sunbathing, and some are like literally like face down like on the earth with like their face like in the sand. And that's our souls, because our souls plant themselves onto earth. And when our souls plant themselves onto earth, they're like trees or like not, I don't want to say beanstalk, because that's what I used to always see with these guys. I used to see that people would grow a new beanstalk coming out of them, but it was it looks like we actually plant ourselves into the earth and we become a part of the earth, and we become like a plant that grows from the earth. And that's our bodies. And our bodies obviously are our mothers give birth to us and we come out and then we walk the earth, but our souls are always planted to the earth. Oh my gosh, this makes sense. Okay. So our souls are always planted to the earth as if they are like a tree or something that's part of the earth, and it receives nourishment from the earth. So when we're in the state of consciousness whereby we are that thing that was planted into the earth and we haven't uprooted ourselves from the earth, we can become uprooted if we have like they're saying I got uprooted when I had the near death experience, or it's like, oh, I want to leave. So it's like my tree like lifted up off the earth and like pulled out and was like, I'm taking off. And then sometimes people have to replant themselves back into the earth, their tree. And it doesn't, when you replant a tree somewhere else, it takes great care to get the tree to feel acclimated to where it is after having lived in one place and then being moved to another. So the trees can be replanted somewhere else basically, but it takes a while to acclimate. Now, people that communicate much like trees communicate. Trees communicate with each other. Like-minded trees, like a bunch of oak trees, will communicate with each other through their roots and through the frequencies of the earth. They don't communicate through their leaves and go, oh no, I lost a leaf, a piece of me is gone and it's going to go over there. It's that what the tree is its roots, and it communicates through the earth to the other trees that are the same type of tree as it, because they are all one, just as human souls are all one. And when we speak of you being all one, this is what we're speaking of. We're not saying that all your human beings are one. We're not saying that you, Joe, and you, Holly, and you, Marissa, are the same person. Very clearly, you are not the same person, but you could quite literally be from the same tree or the same consciousness of those trees. So picture the earth, picture the souls, each soul as an egg entering into the earth, and that egg or diamond has the consciousness of Christ within it. And that consciousness, more so of the Christ as the I am collective, or the I am consciousness, or the Father, or the divine Holy Spirit infuses this, places it into the earth, and this is the divine immaculate conception of you. And that immaculate conception is not the human being, it's the soul. And that soul is created. And when the soul is created, that soul is a being, and that being is alive. And when that being decides to become physical, that is when a man and woman will conceive of a physical being for that soul to enter into and experience life through all of its creations. But that soul, in essence, brought those two beings together and created this whole orchestrated experience. And so each of you were orchestrated. Everyone here was orchestrated, but your soul existed prior to you, and your soul is you. So when you're seeing this wiggly thing in front of you, they're talking to me, you're seeing the beings laying down either on their back or down face forward, daydreaming. The souls are daydreaming in essence, and they're dreaming that they're you. And you in this dream think it's real. So you live your life and you do your thing, but then you realize, wait a second, is this even real? And that's when you fall into a place between the soul's consciousness and the consciousness of your human self. So what this channel is seeing is the tree. That is what she's seeing, the tree. And the tree is, in essence, Holly's tree. And then there's the tree that is Joe, the tree that is Marissa, but those trees are all communicating through their roots. So it's a root that you're seeing. Oh, I was seeing a root. That's what it looked like. It totally looked like a root.
Oops. That's happened to me. I will be driving the car on the freeway or something, and then all of a sudden something in my head goes, this right now? Am I really? Have you ever had that feeling? Holly, have you ever had that feeling?
I don't feel real feeling. I don't feel real.
Yeah, I don't.
I had that a lot.
Am I really doing this? Am I really driving down the freeway or whatever?
Or I don't feel like I should be here. This is somebody else's
I don't feel.
life.
Yeah,
this
it's like you
right.
feel like.
Yeah.
You feel like it's not really like, you. What are you doing? I mean, it's hard to explain, but it's happened to me
like
many
where you're
times.
Going like, whoa!
It happens
like
when I'm driving. Yeah, it happens when I'm driving, and I'm going, "Is this real? Is this real?"
Interesting. When you're driving, it just happens when you're driving. Because what I know when we're driving, we go into a theta brainwave. You know, like when you go like, whoa, I don't even remember driving here. That's pretty bad. Like my robot just took me to here, to there. It's because we go into a theta brainwave, and theta is like a sleeping brainwave, but it's also the creation brainwave where you put people when they're hypnotized. And when you do healings on people, the healers get into a theta brainwave and kind of command certain things, like command this disease to leave or this belief to be changed. And it's a theta brainwave. But we go into theta when we're driving, and that's why you'll be driving and you'll be like, la la la. I wonder what would happen if I just turn the wheel and hit this wall right now. And you're like, why am I thinking that? No, oh my God, I'm not suicidal. But it's because you're passing through a frequency of where somebody hit the wall. But you're in a theta brainwave, so you're completely receptive to everything that's around you, and everything else you're just kind of like daydream. But then it's a jarring thought to think, I wonder what would happen if I hit this wall. So I always tell people at the beginning of my class, I go, who has ever had this thought? I wonder what would happen if I hit this wall right now when they're driving. And usually about 40% of the class raises their hand and goes like, me, I'm a psycho that thought that. And I'm like, you guys are the mediums. You guys are the ones that can feel and experience the astral plane around you. You guys see and experience spirit. So it's kind of cool to kind of put it into like those terms. And then I hear a noise.
Yeah, I know. I hear a beeping.
So,
yeah.
I would get that feeling when I would wake up in the mornings, like as I'm coming out of my slumber, I would wake up and I'm like, I'm not supposed to be here. I don't know. You know, it just didn't feel right. There's a lot.
Because you're going into your soul. They're saying like a lot of people go into their soul when they sleep at night. So it's like, since you're like in a dream when we're here in reality, and then when you go to sleep at night, you kind of remerge back with that tree, that like the tree. Mama always says she's a tree. She's right. Mama, you're a tree. Mama's here. I think I saw her on here. She always used to be like, I'm a tree. I'm going to be a weeping willow and put me on. And we'd be like, no, don't talk about dying. Remember when she was like 20, or when she was like 30s, she used to tell us that I'm going to be under a weeping willow tree when I die. And I'd be like, don't talk about that. Me and Holly would both get all sad. And she'd do her hair like this. But anyways, she's always thought she was a tree. But I also saw my Aunt Goga go from being in a tree all the way up into Jesus. And I also saw Uncle Brian, or Jeff's brother, go from a tree into Jesus. So I wonder if my whole thing of seeing people in trees, and that whole attunement process I took everyone through recently, they all went through trees. I wonder if our souls, when we sleep at night, if we just completely leave Earth. And so when we come back, it's like, whoa, where am I? I'm back in this dream world that's supposed to be reality. Holly's higher self is like, well, oh my God, Holly, she's like a professor. She's got like the glasses on. She said, actually, this is a dream within a dream, but let's not get too complicated. She says the Bible is a perfect map of where our consciousness lies and where it goes. And that's what Jesus came to show us, that walking through this reality, or walking through this dream world with ease, without fear, without pain, without sorrow, without guilt, shame, greed, all of these things keep us in a state where we can be what we want to be, so long as we're kind, so long as we love, and so long as we see others with compassion. We do not get stuck within a dream. So he's saying there's like a dream within a dream world where it's like where everyone's stuck in fear. And that's where they tried to get us during the whole pandemic time. They wanted to get everyone into like fear. So they weren't in a brainwave where, you know, how there's some dreams where you're stuck in the dream and you're like, I get it. It's like, you don't know it's a dream and you're stuck in it. And then there's other dreams where you're like in a lucid dream and you're like, oh, I'm dreaming. Sweet. I'm going to go fly now. I'm going to go do this now. Like that's like the state that Jesus wanted us to get into, where we realize, oh my gosh, I'm in this dreamlike state where I can do whatever I want to do, and I can walk on water, and I can do all these different things. And I've got all these like beings, like angels, that are going to help keep me and guide me. But if you go into fear, even just a little tiny bit of fear, we immediately fall into like this dream within a dream where we cannot change the outcome of things, and we get stuck. And that's where the government tries to get us. That's where everyone wants us to be. And even these poor people, like the illegals that are here, I don't even like calling them aliens, because we're not aliens, they're humans. But the people that are here illegally, it's like they live their life in fear. So I wonder how close to God anyone can be if they're living in fear constantly. I just remember my old assistant, her mom was not legal, and she was so scared every day that she was going to come home and her mom was going to be deported. That was like their biggest fear. Remember, Papa? She was always freaked out about that. She was always, she was always trying to find ways to like join the military or do something. Her whole life was dedicated to trying to keep her mom in the U.S. And it was just like, there's no way that somebody could live in peace like that, or even live their soul's path that way. It's tough. But so Peter says, and the rock in which the angels keep us from running into it, that's not that rock. He's saying stones that you can trip over, but he's saying, I'm the rock. Peter says he's the rock. Why is he saying
he is the rock? Because he's the cornerstone. He's always been the rock. The church was built on the rock, the cornerstone, which is Peter. So Jesus told Peter, he is the cornerstone. He is the rock. He is the one to build upon Jesus and to spread the word. So it says, don't build on sand. It's all going to wash away. You build it on rock. And my rock is Peter. So you build your life around Peter's continuation of the teachings of Jesus. And then it was, then he was killed in Rome. He was hung upside down. But anyway, Marisa, I hate to be a Debbie Downer here, but you've got an appointment in exactly 2.5 minutes. So I'm afraid we're going to have to wrap it up for the day. And maybe between now and tomorrow, you can get that computer.
Get those recordings going. But So I'm super excited to have Holly here. I'm super excited to have my sister on here. I've talked about her so much. Like everyone always hears me talking about her, and then now she's here. So I'm excited. You're here, Holly. I'm just saying it on air. I mean, like, as if we can't talk in like 2 seconds, but it's like you see those videos. Have you seen those videos where it's like the oh my gosh, there's 2 cameras here.
I know, you're looking in the other one.
It's going back and forth. Oh my God, it's so funny. I'm like, what is going on here? There's 3 cameras actually going all at one time, and I have 3 on the screen, if you can see them.
Oh my gosh.
Because I was trying to.
I can just see you and Holly and me.
Oh, it's on there. See, look at this, the camera I have set up.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, okay. I'm so happy you're here, Holly. There we go.
I'm happy too.
But
anyway, Marisa, you got an appointment in 2 minutes.
I know. I just texted her. It's fine. I used to always, like, whenever we'd be doing our show or whatever, I'd always be thinking like, oh, I hope Holly's not watching this and like thinking like I'm like a total freak or whatever. And I think there's a lot of people in the world that like do like spiritual stuff, and like, like when I've got this one client that I'm coaching right now, I'm going to do my appointment with her right now, but she's like, oh yeah, I can invite all my neighbors and I can invite all these people to like my group. And I'm just going like, how can you do that? Like, I remember Joanna and Lauren came to my thing in Encinitas, that I had like a big spiritual event there, and I was like totally cool with it. I was like, oh yeah, I'll totally get up there and teach. And then Joanna and Lauren came, and I was like, oh, I'm so mortified. I was so embarrassed to talk about snow globes and 12-story buildings and like, oh, Christ is here. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was like mortified the whole time, because I was my Marisa from like Encinitas, like San Diego, like was like listening to myself, and I was just like, oh my gosh, talk about like wake up, Marisa, you sound like a moron, so. But it's like we have all these different pieces of us, and I wouldn't say it was like my inner child or like whatever, but it's like maybe it is our inner child, or it's just our human self, and then starting to talk about all this stuff is just like, oh, I sound like a ridiculous person. And when you talk about the Bible, it's like more like, all these other people believe in this, so I don't feel as bad talking about the Bible because all these other people believe in it. But when you're talking about all this weird stuff like us, it's like you feel weird. But I thought I was going to feel weird like doing this with Holly, and it feels totally naturally normal, 100%. And I love it because it's the energy all just clicks together and links together, and it's pretty cool. I like it.
It is.
I
cool.
like it. I like it.
I like it too.
And I like her big wiggle worm. Her big wiggle worm guide. It's a root of a tree, is what I'm seeing. Hey, Marisa, how's it going? Anyways,
well, Marisa, I'm going to have to get going. I hate to be the downer. I got to get going.
No, yeah, we got to go.
because I'm leaving in 2 days, and I got to go get my glasses. I got to go get my prescription, so I got to go.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okie dokie, everyone. We will see you. Yeah, go over to patreon.com/discovering intuition. Holly and I are going to do a free reading tomorrow morning. So if you're on I think it's going to be a $60, $50 or $60 tier. We're going to make a $50 or $60 tier. If you're on there or up, then you'll be in the drawing, and we'll pull a name and we'll do a free reading tomorrow. So we'll announce it on Patreon.com/discovering intuition. Okay. See you guys later.
Bye.
Good.